Welcome to the Mental Health Matchmaker podcast. I'm your host, Jess, and today I'm chatting with Dina, a trained and licensed therapist who supports clients in both English and Arabic in her therapy sessions. Dina is also a teacher and a mother, so she has a ton of experience working with both parents and students, navigating the school system, dealing with lack of motivation in school, or even processing diagnoses such as ADHD. And Dina also supports clients with anxiety, peer relationships, stress, and identity. In this episode, we discuss identity relating to the Arabic culture, and she shines some light on different things her clients struggle with and that she supports them with. And we also discuss women's issues at the very beginning. So let's get into it.
I see a few clients who are kind of in transitional phases, so either becoming new moms or transitioning into like an empty nester type situation where their, kids are going off to university or getting married. I see, a few clients who are kind of hitting their mid-40s, early 50s and kind of navigating like perimenopause and all the physical changes as well as like emotional and everything like that. So it kind of runs the gamut. There's not like one specific thing that we focus on, but it like life transitions is a big thing.
Yeah.
Also, like, breaking down the idea that the woman kind of carries, the mental load of everybody in the house, especially if she's married or has kids and has a job and there's so much to juggle. A lot of it is like, validating the experiences and empowering them to really take self-care, treat it as a necessity, not a luxury. And that's a huge thing that a lot of women really struggle with. They think, when I have the time, I'll, do this or that. But it's like, a little bit of like psychoeducation around if you take care of yourself, you can take care of others. You can't give from an empty bucket. That's what I say to them.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
Yeah.
And I think a lot about, I don't have, kids of my own, but I imagine the mental load that then comes when you have children and trying to pursue a career. And, if you're in a marriage or a relationship, it can become a lot. Does burnout even come up when clients come see you in that sense?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think there's a lack of awareness on what that looks like or what that is. Like, it's often, I'm so stressed out. That's what it, comes out as.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that, like, that's burnout, right? Like you're not able to take care of yourself. You're not able to take care of others. You're dysregulated often. Little things that didn't used to bother you a lot now. Things like that. And many of them want to be present. They want to be better moms. They want to be better wives or partners or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got to take care of yourself and you got to do things for yourself. So the fact that, they're seeking therapy is the first step, which is great. And I totally encourage that. And I think it's a really great space to, kind of think about all those things and process all this stuff with, with somebody who, has been there, done that kind of thing. So
yeah, I wanted to ask if you pull from personal experience when chatting with clients about this stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's hard not to, right?
Yeah.
Like, definitely, I find a lot of it resonates. Like, even though my kids are older, I can still remember when it was kind of challenging when they were little and having put kind of my career aspirations on hold to be there for my family. And it was a decision that, my husband and I made together, and I, wholeheartedly, like, I'm totally okay with it. But it's like, encouraging women also who have done the same, that yes, you can go back and yes, you can, get another degree and you can pursue whatever you dream. Like there's never like a limit on when you can go back. And so that's another thing, like career changes, transitioning to different career options for women too, and how to navigate that with what works with their family. But yeah, it's hard not to draw on your own experiences and kind of like, you know, like hear that echo in your own mind of when your client is speaking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes me think about how you have experienced a lot of career transitions, and what was that process like when you decided, okay, I want to go back to school and become a psychotherapist?
Wanting to be a psychotherapist has been a dream for many, many years. I've always had a passion for psychology ever since my undergrad, and just life happened and I chose different career paths that worked for myself at the time and worked for my family. And hence, you know, I was a teaching assistant for a while, working with children with autism at the board level, and then transitioned into teaching by going back to Teachers College. So I've done the going back to school, but this one was really something that it's always been in the back of my mind. It's always been like in my heart to do. And it just came at a time when I realized, you know what, I think this is time. It's time for me to take, you know, for myself. It was a big decision because the workload was big. I still had my job as a teacher and I have my family, and so taking on another degree was a lot of, you know, it required a lot of thought, but I knew in my heart that it was the right time. And I had huge support from my family, my kids, my husband. It was just, they were all like, yeah, go for it. That's what you've always wanted to do. So, do it. And here I am.
I love that. I want to hear even more about just the work you do with clients and how it makes you feel and the progress you're able to see with people, and some of those moments that you have in session.
I love giving clients the space to just come as they are and bring whatever they need to bring. I find that oftentimes clients, when they come to therapy, it's like the only time that they have where they get, you know, an uninterrupted 50 minutes with somebody who is actively listening. So, you know, most of them have supportive families, they have supportive friends, like, you know, they have a good social network, whatever, but no one's friend is gonna, you know, sit and listen intently and empathically for that long. So I feel like I am so privileged to be that person for my clients, that they can come and just bring whatever they need. They can vocalize however, you know, their struggles, however they see them. And I do make sure that I convey that to them, that, like, you know, no judgment. I want you to be able to feel safe to express yourself however you need to. And I ask for feedback from my clients a lot because I like to be informed when, you know, moving along with sessions with my clients. So, you know, I'll often ask, you know, are your goals that we can co-constructed together in the beginning of, you know, our therapy journey, are they being met? Is there, you know, something else that you'd like to add, or, you know, are you getting what you want? And I've been extremely lucky and blessed that most of them are, you know, the response is yes, absolutely, I'm getting what I need out of this. And then seeing the progress that they don't see sometimes, right? Yeah. That's the most rewarding part, is like, you mean you don't see that? Like, how do you not see that? Like, look at you. You're able to do this, or you weren't able to do that, 2 months ago, but look at you now. So,
I love that. As someone who has gone to therapy for quite a few years, I am so grateful when my therapist will reflect that back to me, and to be able to process that and vocalize like, oh, wow, like I've changed a lot over the past year or a couple months or 2 years or beyond that. It's so special to have someone be like a witness to that and be such a support to a growth process like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that we're always our own worst critics. And I know that of myself. So having gone to therapy myself, and having a therapist say that to me, and I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yes. I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay. And then I start to reflect on what she said, and I'm like, okay, yes, I guess, it doesn't have to be perfect. I am a work in progress. And that's what I try to convey to clients. It's not perfection that you're aiming for. It is your relief from whatever, symptoms or things that used to bother you. And there are times where you're gonna, regress, or not regress, but like revert back to, thinking in a certain way or whatever. And then you're a work in progress, and you are who you are, and you are beautiful the way you are right now.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that, because it's so true. And it can be challenging to like give ourselves the grace and the recognition of like we're working hard, especially coming to therapy. You're choosing to like be vulnerable and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And I want to chat even more about some other clients that come to see you, lots of parents, women. Are there other age groups or backgrounds that come and seek help from you?
Yeah. So I'm lucky that I speak Arabic, and I am from an Egyptian background. So I'm familiar with the Middle Eastern culture and the Arabic culture in general. So I've had the privilege of seeing clients who, would rather seek therapy from an Arabic speaking therapist who can not only speak the language, but also just understand the nuances of the culture, where they don't necessarily have to explain it. It just, like, I understand, like they're talking and I know exactly what they're referring to.
Yeah.
So it's very different, and I love it. I love being able to give back to my own community in that way, and offering, therapy in the language that is comfortable. And also, like, their self-expression is hard in a foreign language. Some of them, they really struggle with really expressing themselves in English. So being able to do that in Arabic for them it's helpful for their journey. So I feel like I feel privileged that I'm able to offer that to some clients. So.
And that makes such a difference. Like my boyfriend's family's from India, and his mom was describing to me recently that like getting to speak in their language, she's like, I don't have to think as much. Like there's not as much,
Right.
like when she's speaking in English to me, for example, it's like there's a bit of a delay between what she's thinking about and then how to verbalize it and then talk it out. And so I feel like it would just make all the difference for a lot of people to be able to just, how you think about it, you can just say it and you just get it.
Exactly. And it's been, like I will interject English into, sessions, just because I came when I was very young. So and I studied in English. So it's kind of hard to switch completely in Arabic. And I am transparent with my clients and letting them know, like, there's going to be peppering of English here and there. But like you said, right, like they at least don't have to translate their thoughts and feelings into English for me to understand. So they just speak it as it comes to them. And
I'm curious what kind of topics even come up with sessions that are, people from similar backgrounds as you, the different things that they're navigating.
Couples issues come up, or at least like relational, I should say, more so, relationship with their parents, the relationship with their partner, especially if their partner is of the same background. Some of it is acculturation to the Canadian culture, in some cases, like of newer immigrants who come see me. But I find a lot of relational, kind of navigating relational issues. If I'm seeing clients who are like first generation, so they're born here, but their parents came as immigrants, it's that balance between, wanting to keep their heritage, but also kind of wanting to forge their own way into, the Canadian society, and wanting to kind of do right by both and being their own person, but also respecting their parents and their own background and heritage. So, and I do appreciate that, because I kind of like went through that a little bit too, kind of keeping a balance of both. And so, that's another topic that kind of comes up, meshing the two.
Yeah. What are the things that happen that just make you feel excited or proud as a therapist, or really get you going when you get to talk about certain things related to that or other things?
When I offer a perspective and it kind of turns on like a light bulb, right? Like, and then you get the pause and you can see the wheels turning and be like, oh, I didn't think of it this way. Or, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can see how that might be. And sometimes when I've offered, like, let's say I've had a teenager who's struggling with their parent, and as a parent, like, okay, I see obviously the teenager's point of view, but I could kind of almost see where that parent might have be coming from. And so, saying, this is what I think is happening, just so that you understand where, your mom is coming from, let's say. And then having them pause. And I guess they've never had that conversation with mom, or be like, oh, okay. I never, thought of her thinking this way or whatever. So just, giving that a little bit of like insight into what the other, person, whether it be their child or the parent, is thinking. And I find that it softens the person who's in therapy, with regards to their, parent or child, when they can see a different perspective.
And I feel like that's the biggest thing therapy, one of many, but one of the biggest things that a therapist can provide is that perspective. Like, similarly to even what we were saying about being hard on ourselves and not being able to recognize our own progress, like, you have tunnel vision at a certain point with your own experience, and to get to have something reflected back to you and given perspective, I think can really open up new pathways of healing and new ways to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's that, like, opening up perspective, just kind of, it's like you're opening up the window and you're letting the sun in a little, to shine on some, some thoughts, and like you said, when you're going through something, you have tunnel vision. You're not really seeing sometimes and I'm an objective person. I often don't even know who that other person they're talking about.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't have stake in anything other than, offering my thoughts and my insights to the client, to just get them to kind of think about things differently.
I didn't even think about that too, like how unbiased you are, and how like you're like, I don't know the person you're talking about, but so I'm gonna like, help you figure this out. And I even wonder, do clients come in sometimes and struggle to open up and take a while to really get going?
Yes. Often if they're coming and they're continuing to come, they're kind of like at that stage of change that they're willing to share. But some are, they kind of struggle, especially if they're older and have never gone to therapy before. They don't really know what to expect. But also giving them the space and going at their pace. So, I've had clients who have said, I do. There's some stuff, but I'm just not ready. And no problem, whenever you're ready. So I go at their pace. I do tell them, you are always allowed to not answer a question. So if I ask you something and you're just not ready to go there, that's okay. You just tell me, I'm not ready. And I feel like, not like giving them that space to decide when they want to share, what they want to share. Eventually it does help them open up a little. And some people by nature are, open up easier than others, and some take some time, and it's that therapeutic relationship. Like, they need to feel very secure in that relationship that, that them and I have, that there's no judgment, and they can share and they can say whatever's on their mind, and I'm on their side.
Yeah. And I'm sure that takes time.
Yeah, it takes, it depends. Some people are, they're ready to share, and they're ready. They've probably gone through a lot of their own thinking or whatever, so they know what they want. And some, it takes a little bit more time for them to feel comfortable and secure and safe. So safety is a huge thing in the therapeutic relationship, that they feel safe to share without cringing. Yeah.
That makes sense. That's actually funny. I like the use of the word cringing, because sometimes you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to share this, and I really don't want to, but I feel like I should.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm curious your insight as well to the stigma in your Arabic culture with therapy? Is that something that's like super prominent? I know with men especially, it's there's a big stigma, but what is that like?
Yeah. So historically, mental illness is very stigmatized in the Arabic culture. But I know that like in the past few years, that stigma is kind of breaking a little. There's a lot more awareness around, mental illness, not as like the severe, psychiatric disorders that we know, but just, depression, anxiety, things like that, struggling with boundaries, struggling with career choices. So, not psychiatric per se. And I've noticed there's like on social media, there's a lot of Arabic speaking therapists that are speaking up about mental illness or, just seeking help from a therapist. Within my community, we're trying to do a lot of outreach work within the community to bring awareness to mental illness.
And really help, like, I'm sure that would help normalize it a lot and increase just like an awareness of who's out there to support too. Because I even know, especially when I talk to male friends of mine or just people in my community as well, I'm like, there's a lack of information, I guess, about how to find a therapist or just normalizing that there are options out there, increasing awareness that there's in-person options, there's virtual options, there's sliding scale options too. And so it's like, if you don't know what you don't know. And so I think it's hard to make the decision to seek support if you have no idea where to start.
Yes. So, and that's why I said, like, I love that people are encouraging each other, if you have somebody who's had a good experience with therapy or is looking for a niche therapist, they can then refer to, their friends and this is why we try and increase awareness around like, how do you find a therapist? How do you find the right fit? Because that's really important. It's not just finding a therapist, but it's finding somebody that you really connect with and you're able to freely share what you need to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I love doing this podcast so much because I really hope it makes it easier for people to find someone that's a good fit. Getting to listen to a therapist speak, for quite a while, it's like you get a good sense of, okay, is this someone I can relate to? Is this someone I can talk to, right? Without even having to book that consultation yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, is there anything I haven't mentioned that... Oh, one thing actually I haven't mentioned yet is confidence and decision making. Just the process of that, and if you have any insight you'd like to share on that, whether in your personal life or things you do with clients on building more confidence and knowing, when you're going to make a big change in your life.
Yeah, that's actually when you asked what are things that come up with clients. Yeah, that's definitely one. And oftentimes they do struggle with, am I making the right choice? So, we talk a lot about when you're asking that question, am I making the right choice for me? Or are you asking, am I making the right choice for others? Because, oftentimes you're not making a choice in a vacuum. You do affect other people.
Yeah.
But it's that finding that balance between, being true to yourself while also considering other people. So we talk a lot about values. So values are big when it comes to decision making. What is it that you do value? What's important for you? What would really help you how would you feel comfortable making that decision? And trusting yourself, trusting that you know yourself best. And if you're questioning something a lot and it's not sitting well, it's most likely, not the right choice. Like trusting your gut, you know yourself really well. A lot of times people just want to hear it from the other person.
Yeah.
Yes, do this. No, don't do that. And so I always, when clients kind of ask me, I'm like, well, I can't tell you what to do. That's not my job because I'm not you, right?
Yeah.
I'm only here to guide you into thinking from different angles, considering different possibilities to make the right decision for you. And obviously, like when they do, it feels that much better because they've made it themselves, right? They've arrived at that conclusion all on their own, just by talking it out and considering different perspectives. So.
And I just had like a flashback to like my own experience of like that relief that you feel, you know, when you're going between two things and you're feeling really conflicted and getting to talk it through with a therapist. And I've had that feeling where I leave a session and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much clarity, you know, and then you then feel more confident in, okay, I know this is the right choice for me.
Exactly.
And it's just sometimes, like you said, you need to talk it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Is there anything I've missed that you want to highlight before we wrap up the episode?
Oh, no, I think you've covered pretty much everything.
Okay, awesome.
And so thank you so much.
Yes. Oh my gosh, of course. So you are available for in-person sessions in Mississauga, and you also do over the phone and virtual sessions.
Yes.
So people can book you below. We'll have all the information in the show notes.
Yeah.
But thank you for taking the time to do this. It
My
was so
pleasure.
nice to sit down
This
and
was
chat
a lot
about
of
this.
fun.
Good. I'm so glad. Awesome.